As far as assembly goes for the little frames, it's pretty well identical to the standard size frames. However, you have a little bit of a difficulty in that my jig is too big. You know, my little frame is only this wide, so I have no support for this side here. I've thought about how to modify this jig to be convertible for both frames, but I think I'm going to build an entirely new jig for these tiny frames. And so that'll only take me a bit. I've built quite a few of these jigs, and I'll take you along for the ride. We'll build it kind of the same way, just much narrower. I'm going to pattern my tiny jig off of my full-size jig as far as dimensions this way, height, all that kind of stuff. It's just going to be narrower because this does work just fine. I have put them together supporting only one side, and then, you know, it kind of works. It would be a little faster. I've got so many to do that it'll be faster if I take the time to build a jig. So what I need to do is just cut the raw material here and cut it up and make it work. I have plans on SketchUp. I'm just going to refresh my memory here. So we got inch. These joints are an inch. So what I need to do is I need to cut an inch strip here, an inch strip here, and then this is a 2-inch strip here of the appropriate length. Lumber is a premium right now. You could make a lot of money selling the lumber that you have in stock. So I don't want to make any mistakes here. So I was looking through my reclaimed lumber pile here. I think I have enough material that I've salvaged to make this project, which makes me happy, considering the price of lumber today. I'll just clean it up a little bit, make it look as nice as I can. Okay, I'm going to do this Roy Underhill style. Not the power tools part, he doesn't use power tools. But he doesn't measure. He doesn't measure anything. He likes to just size stuff with what he has. And I can't fault him for that. That's a noble way to woodwork. Put this down, make that steady. Now I gotta get a block in here. Some scrap wood, giving me a repeatable cut. Looks like that'll work. Clears. Does. Alright, so I can cut two of the 2-inch pieces that length. Which will be this part. And I get the second one from that piece. Okay. So that's those two pieces. So these are to be that long, less than 1.5 inches. I'm gonna have to measure. Roy's gonna kick me out of school. That is bang on. Stop fence. And cut the other 3 in like manner. So that kind of goes like this. It's going to be narrow like that. It's going to be narrow. Okay. And how narrow that is determined by this thing. Okay, so I don't need that whole contraption. All I need to do is I need to make it just comfortable for that width. Okay. So again, Roy would line that up, mark it with his pencil. I'm going to measure it. That is 9.5 on the money. Okay, so I've got my 9.5s. Slide them in there. So on there. Okay. So how does that look with the frame? That actually looks really good. This one's in a little bit, but so that spacing looks, I think that's just fine. Kind of wobbly, but just fine. So now I need to make my through pieces here. Okay, they're fairly long. I'll need to cut another piece, but I've got lots of this reclaimed, so I can make it out of that. But it's going to be 3/4 of an inch wide, and what I need to determine is this has to slide in right here. Okay, so what I need to know is I need to know a comfortable fit, because this slides between this surface and this surface. Take this down, and then I should be able to get a pretty good measure on that. I should know it, you know, it's the same as the other one. So I'll put it right about there. And we'll get that, and that is 2 inches. That is 2 inches, and I'll add a little bit, again, because it slides. Maybe do 2 1/8 or so. And where that's relevant is the 2-inch filler piece that goes in here will be 2 1/8 times 2, shorter than this. Okay, so 2 1/8 times 2, you know, 4 1/4. 4 1/4, shorter than that. What was that, 9.5? 9.5, so 5 1/4 is what we're looking at for that piece. That's plenty roomy, but I think it'll be okay. I think that'll work just fine. I need to measure these pieces so that I can build one of these a little more quickly the next time. So these long pieces need to the length of these is not that important, but you need to make sure it's long enough to go through, and it's never going to sit in exactly the right place, so make it a little bit longer so that it's comfortable. And this is 20 and a half of all things. I'm going to take this piece and I'll cut that 20 and a half. The Roy Underhill style here, I'll just line it up with what I have and cut it off. The length again is not important. The exact length, I should say, is not important. And then I'll rip that to just under 2. This is 2 inches high, so I want that just under 2. I think I've made these 1 3/4 inches. Yeah, it's just 1 13/16 inches. Okay, I hear what you're saying, that I didn't really need to cut those 2 slide-in pieces because they're the same piece as the other jig, and that's all good. I could very well have just used those 2 pieces, but I didn't. I cut these. I need to get working on this. I can't go too far with it. Normally I would round some edges and get the sander out and the whole thing, but I need to get work on this, so I'm gonna just power through. I'm gonna use Titebond Original. It's not an outdoor project, so I'm not as concerned with those lids really stick. I'm not as concerned with the waterproof nature of Titebond 3. I don't use enough glue to really make much difference in costs overall. 2 1/4 there, 2 1/8 there, so move a 16th, we should be right on the money. I'll just draw a guideline there and there. I'm going to glue that and staple it, and the same on this one. I'm glad I got a little bit of woodshop stuff in. Well, I've been in the woodshop a lot, but it's just, you know, it's been what they call production work. Nothing real interesting. Nothing that interesting for you. Okay. That's only 1 1/4 inch staple. It's not going in there very far, but it doesn't have to because the glue is what does the job, right? The glue does the work. Really do things right, you should forego the glue and clamp. I want to use this jig right away though. I don't want to wait for clamps. So the staples will clamp until the glue is set and I can still use the jig while that's happening. It's going to be a nasty looking little jig with this reclaimed lumber and whatnot. It's the sign of the times, right? That's okay. That one didn't go on straight. Okay, so now, a little puzzle, you know, you kind of have to do it in the right order. Things will go sideways. don't. This is next kind of thing. I can glue that, staple it. It's not going to be worth much, but I can do it anyway. I say it's not worth much because, I'll tell you, that's an end grain glue joint. And an end grain glue joint is just about as pointless as anything. It's the weakest joint that you could possibly imagine. But I'll make it anyway. It's not going to be the only thing. Yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I think about everything. That one there. Another end green glue joint. I can't even say that. End green glue joint. Watch your fingers here. They'll come out the side and stick in your finger. Okay. And while I'm at it, I could do that one. Put some more glue in this end green. It's kind of a waste of glue, but there's a little bit of tack there. Should be finalizing this measurement with the frame. Looks good. You ever wonder why the Langstroth frame dimensions are so goofy? You know, you can't build it out of a... Langstroth is an American. Why would you not just build everything to even inches or something instead of the goofy dimensions that they came up with? Okay, so these pieces go here. Okay, so I can glue all the way along that and do a real nice glue joint. I'm going to do that upside down so that I can drive my staples. These. One at a time. I'll get ahead of myself here. And we'll line that up. There's staple. Line it up on this side. Okay. And we'll do that again over here. You ever glue your project real good and you ever want it to come apart? That's a problem. But if you ever glue it really good and you don't want it to ever come apart, that's not a problem. This glue really holds. Squeeze out is a bit of a waste, but not. You want to control the squeeze out, but You want a little bit of squeeze out, because then you know that joint is full, at least at that point. Okay. We're getting there, boys and girls. So these two pieces go up here, right like that. And this piece goes across there. So I'll do that end piece first, or next. I can't do it first. Hold it as flush as I can there. See on this end. And then a couple in there. Then I'm going to put the long pieces on. Glue on here. Again, a end grain glue joint, but we'll put glue there anyway. Uh-oh, got a blowout. That staple blew out the side there a little bit. So that's what I was saying, you don't hang on with your fingers, you'll get that in the finger. One time. You just don't believe me, ask me how I know that. Ask me how I know that you'll get that sucker in your finger one day. Some things people learn the hard way. Take my hard lesson, make it an easy lesson for yourself. Okay, we're getting real close here. One more piece. And it actually fits, look at that. Wow. So I'm on this end grain. Now that frame fits in there. We are done building a mini frame jig.